Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 230. Let's see who shows up. Ooh, it's Draven. I've been wanting to draft Draven. I've been wanting to get him paired up with with like a Victor, and so we could consider this one. These are all extremely good starting points. All of these are really powerful packs. If this was a Scrap Heap Draven, the one paired with Piltover, then I would dive in. I've been really wanting to try to put together this kind of aggro Draven deck that can take advantage of augments, right? So you can go kind of back and forth with creating spinning axes and creating ballistic bot ignitions, and it just seems so much better than trying to have to do these kind of Draven shenanigans with puff caps, like being able just to do it with, not only having the power of the augment units, leveling them up with spinning axes or discarding ignitions. It seems just like super fantastic. I think it's been doing pretty well and constructed, although I admittedly haven't been playing because I don't find the go hard format to be particularly fun, but I think this is a thing, and we'll get an opportunity to try it at some point. But also over here, the Zed pretty strong. Really love starting with Young Witches. Discipline Zed, one of the tier 1 pools. This is good stuff. I would recommend just trying to draft elusives out of this. And then I'm also kind of interested in the Blood on the Ice Ashe over here. This is a pretty powerful set. I really like starting with the Ashe side of this pool so that we don't actually have to play like Darius. I really prefer this to just be kind of like 3 Ashes, really be an Ashe build around, but she typically, in my opinion, doesn't really have enough payoff when you're just playing a whole bunch of Frostbites. But like this is the exact kind of start to where I can really get behind trying to play Frostbites with Ashe. You're getting, I've been really trying to speak these days recently as kind of like the and factor with cards, right? So if you're playing Brittle Steel, you can play Brittle Steel to win combat. That's fine. That's good. It's a 1 mana combat trick, which is a very good deal. But I really like that and factor where it's like you can win a combat or you can use it with the arena, or you can win a combat and use it with the Rhymefang Wolf. Like I really like to build together these synergies as opposed to just playing cards because they're good. And so I'm kind of interested in this Ashe as well. So I think this is who we're actually going to take. If we had ended up with a Scrap Heap Draven, then I would be kind of interested in this. But let's jump into the arena with this Ashe. So we'll take a moment, we'll get it pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar with the site, it's ftpbust.com. It's where I keep my collection of all of my expedition content. And so here today we'll be over in the expedition helper section. We're just going to go to the little drop down thing. Going to scroll 1 pip down to Ashe and click on Blood on the Ice. This will list all of the cards that live in this card pool. And I do want to make a quick note. I haven't posted videos in the past couple of days because I've been trying to get the 3-minute guides updated for Cosmic Creations. These are now up to date for all of the I think there were 7 card pools in Cards of Creation. There might have been 8. But those are all up to date and out there for you. They always, I always think it's just like a 3-minute video. It shouldn't take that long, and then they always take much longer than than I ever anticipate. But that's there for you if that's your thing, or if you're getting caught up with the new cards. Those guides are there for you. And so with this, we've already kind of touched on the Frostbites a bit, but there's 2 things going on within the Ashe side of this card pool. It's to a degree, it's meant to be, exactly paired up with Darius, and with Darius, he has the 5 attacks matters theme. So there's cards like the Reckoning. There's the 5-cost unit that draws a card for every 5 attack dude you have, and so you're supposed to be able to use the 5 attack matters themes across both pools. But how are you going to do that with Freljord? You're doing that with the Yetis. And so you are going to see Avarosian Trapper, Yeti Yearling, Ancient Yeti in this card pool. This one doesn't have the... Oh, it does have the Frostbite one, the Icy Yeti as well. Not a huge fan of him, but he's here. And so that's kind of like the synergistic theme between the 2 pools. The other thing is the Noxkraya Arena is technically a Noxus card, and so how do we make this particularly good? That is with Frostbites. So if we take our opponent's best unit, we Frostbite it, it's going to have 0 attack, and then our strongest unit is going to strike it. So we should just be able to start kind of killing their units with our Frostbites. And so those are the 2 themes here. We'll kind of see how this pans out. out, what this tends to happen, as far as I'm concerned, with these Freljord Noxus decks, is it just tends to turn into this kind of mid-rangey overwhelm style deck. But I am kind of interested in seeing if we can't slam some reforges in here. That's just kind of the theme of Cosmic Creation. But kind of one of the weaker things with this pool is it doesn't have a whole lot of early game. It's got one drop in the Yearling, 1/2 drop in the Icevale Archer, 1/3 drop in the Trapper, and then there's no other early game. And so if we could have like 1/3 drop as Riven, and then some of the 1 and 2 drop Reforge cards to really kind of solidify our early game, and then we can also use those Reforges with we can be giving like Quick Attack to Rhymefang Wolf or the Rabbit Wolf, or we can give some of these big meaty 1 cost 5/5 Yetis overwhelm. Like there's just some neat little interactions we can do. I love all the interactions we can do with the Reforged cards, and so we'll have to see what we can put together here. And then the last thing to call out taking this one is we are 2 factions deep already. So the way that this typically goes is, say, we take this Arachnophilia Draven. This is the Noxus half of Arachnophilia. In the second pack, we're guaranteed to see a Shadow Isles champion. It's not necessarily Elise, but there will be a Shadow Isles champion. And so if we wanted to take Shadow Isles, we were kind of forced to take that champion. We'd have to devote champion picks to this theme. But with how this pool works and how things like kind of Fishbones work is we've already got Noxus in here. We don't specifically have to take a Noxus champion if we want to see Noxus cards, but the option is already going to be here. So it doesn't matter like too much in the sense as far as limiting our factions. We don't draft 3 factions too frequently, but what if something happens like Sejuani shows up in the next set of packs? And we, may not want to take her because we do want some Noxus cards. But now that the arena's here, we're allowed to make decisions like that. So it's just one of the things to kind of keep in mind as far as we go in here. And you can't make it happen any more obviously than that. Just having Sejuani show up, that's pretty beautiful. And so I believe this is who I'd like to take. This is not a deck where Shen is ever going to play particularly well. I don't really like playing Shen unless we're in either, ideally, a Fiora deck, or at least a deck that has a bunch of challengers in it, or if we're in a support deck. He's being the support champion in the support deck, so if you're playing like Taric main with Shen, that's pretty okay. I don't think he pairs particularly well with Ashe. So, we're down to either the Darius or the Sejuani, and I'm not really wanting to take this Darius. I do not like Disruption Darius. It's pretty weak. This is a card pool that we just take if either, we want to be in Darius for some reason, we want to be in Noxus for some reason, or if we're either playing Yasuo, this is where a lot of these stuns actually live. This pairs up with Yasuo, or if we're in a what's his name, an Ezreal deck. You don't really want to be playing Guile, but this does have Stun Spider in it and some of these targeted stuns so that you can get some value out of your Ezreal. But otherwise, we're really just taking this for the Noxus cards. This is a truly horrific card pool. But this is very fantastic having the Sejuani show up here. It fixes a lot of the problems that we actually run into with this deck, is where we don't have a way to interact with our opponents. We have to be playing Caught in the Cold to give something vulnerable. Otherwise, it's with Sejuani or it's with combat tricks. Granted, Troll Chant's good. Frostbites are good. We do have the arena, but typically you can't be doing interaction here. And so I think this will be okay, because the second thing I kind of want to call out with being in this Freljord pairing is if we go and look at these Ashe pools, it's not in Blood on the Ice, but Frozen Solid Ashe does have access to the Avarosian Outriders, and then I believe Suit Up Sejuani also has access to it. I know one of these Sejuanis does. Yeah, it's the Suit Up, and that's the one that we would be in here. And so being, fully Freljord champions and hopefully being able to take advantage of the Allegiance card, it's pretty nice. I have to admit, I'm pretty happy with that. And so I think this will be okay. This pool, it doesn't really fix a lot of the problems that we have with Ashe. It doesn't have any real early game to it. It's just Ruthless Raider as far as units are concerned. But if we do look to, build towards Noxus Freljord Overwhelms, there's a lot of good choices in here. Ruthless Raider, Mighty Poro, Wolf Rider, and the Ursine Spirit Walker. This one doesn't have Alpha Wildclaw, but that lives with Ashe. Just the the Freljord half of the overwhelms all live here. The only real disappointing thing with this card pool is it doesn't have the Frostbites in it. Like out of this pack, we were getting Elixir of Iron and Troll Chant. Troll Chant can kind of do the same things that we want. Giving an opponent's unit minus attack can kind of do the same thing as a Frostbite as far as the Noxkraya Arena is concerned, or as far as the Frostbite Wolf Challenger guy is concerned. So we can kind of like work with this, but that is the only real like downside to this is it doesn't have the Frostbites in it. But yeah, I'll be pretty happy to take this. I think I do want to take one moment to come up, take a quick peek at the Blood on the Ice Darius. I don't think the late game overwhelms that we want really live here. You can kind of see the 5 attack batters theme with the Assessor and with the Reckoning. But we'd be kind of cool with Kato the Arm. Glory Seeker plays pretty reasonably well in these style of decks. There's just not a whole lot of cards in this pool that we specifically want. It's more of a Nox and Might thing that has the cards we want, where you're seeing your Iron Ballista, your Armored Tusk Riders, Basilisk Rider. A lot of the Overwhelm theme lives here. But no, I'm pretty happy to pick up the Sejuani. That was strange to have our shot called like that, but I'm pretty happy it panned out that way. Interesting. The Leviathan is always pretty bonkers, but I don't think we really want it. It is an extremely powerful ability. It does kind of play well with Sejuani. I mean, it does come with the 2-drop as well. I think that's real close. I would be kind of worried about these Mega Keg cards just kind of showing up. But I think this is pretty reasonable. I don't want these Trifarian Hopefuls. Icevale Archer is, of course, good. These are reasonable. I don't really like stacking our decks with Ursine Spirit Walkers because all of our big units tend to just have Overwhelm anyways. Like Sejuani's going to have it. If we take the Leviathan, it's going to have it. It does play well with like the Yetis, but I don't think we'll be too heavy in the 5-cost matters theme. This is just interesting if we're willing to play the Leviathan just on like the idea of raw power, which I think we're pretty okay with. It does pair up with Sejuani. If she's getting these flipped hits in on our opponent, we can get Frostbite their whole team before we attack. So let's take it. Hopefully this doesn't just like completely mess up all of the units, all the cards that decide to show up in the future. I still have in my head that we can be some kind of Freljord Allegiance deck should things happen that way, but this is kind of what I was worried about, seeing immediately seeing the City Breaker and Nox and Fervor show up. But here we can at least take the Tavern Keeper Troll Chant. Again, Troll Chant doesn't quite function as a Frostbite, but it has a lot of the similar style to it. We could go with the Overwhelms, but I don't really want our deck to be getting real top heavy. I'm not like guaranteed or saying that we have to build 3 Sejuani, 1 Ashe, or 3 Ashe, 1 Sejuani. I'm okay with a 2-2 here. But I tend to want to stack more Sejuanis. I think what will really happen is it kind of just depends on what our curve looks like, and not so much just the power of either champion. But here I'm fine with the Tavern Keeper Troll Chant. Okay, so I do still worry about about all of these Mega Keg cards showing up, because this is not a particularly good card pool and it does not synergize well with what we're doing. So hopefully we're not going to get real punished for taking Leviathan, because I have no real intentions of ever taking a Swain. But these other packs are fairly weak. I do like that we're getting to pick up Legion Grenadiers, and Scorched Earth is a removal spell we typically don't have access to, and so I'll go down this path. I feel like we're just making mistakes here doing that, but I'd kind of rather just be 100% Freljord, but that's okay. And here we're never taking the Bilgewater. These don't really add anything to what we're doing. We're far away from being a Sejuani Gangplank style plunder deck. So I'm happy to pick up the Yearling with the Sentry. Just some good early game plays. No boy, well we're still taking these. We got all the Legion Grenadiers today, but I don't want either Tall Tales. This card is just abysmally terrible, and so Whirling Death would be okay. Call of the Wild is actual unplayable, so let's at least continue to take the good 2-drops with the removal spell. See, and here's the Outriders. Right when we hit 7 Noxus cards, the Outriders show up. We don't have to take it, but it's such an ultra powerful card. just really helps play towards the overwhelm theme. I like it because it gets us to this deck to where, say, we can play like 2 Sejuanis, the Leviathan, maybe an Alpha Wildclaw, like maybe an Armored Tusk Raider, and then we still get, you know, the mid-game overwhelms with the Overwhelm Poro and with the Noxus Chariot, whatever it's called, and this just like fits in the curve so perfectly. And then it also gives, say, you know, we hit Avarosian Sentry, then we still just have another big beefy Overwhelm unit. And so it does kind of suck to be passing on 2 Frostbites, but I think I want to pick up the Outriders. The power level there is just huge, huge. And with these, I do want this Frostbite with the Trapper. Huge fan of the Trappers in these style of decks. Really helps fill out our curve. Just picking up those big Yetis is pretty valuable. With this, Caught in the Cold will be fine. Pick up some interaction with the Frostbite. Really don't want to be taking any more Noxus cards. I'm not going to take them unless we're just kind of like actually forced into doing it. And so I'm pretty happy with this Wolf Rider Fury of the North. We can at least, you know, hopefully get some Wolf Rider usage out of these 3 Legion Grenadiers. They also kind of play well with our Sejuani, being able to deal damage to our opponent on their turn. So it is nice to get some of this, you know, secondary value out of these cards, and not just have this be curve filler. But here I don't want the Grenadier or the Demolitionist. Again, I want to cycle out like 1 or 2 Noxus cards. I'm pretty okay with getting rid of any of our Noxus cards that aren't the Arena or the Leviathan, because they're all pretty just kind of mediocre fillers, and I do want to push towards the Allegiance. It's not like super important, but if we pick up a second Allegiance unit, then it will actually be very important. But these are fine. Let's just keep keep looking away from the Noxus. This is fine. We've got a Frostbite Archer with a Tavern Keeper just all around the basis of the early game for these decks. And beautiful, a Starlit Seer with an Outrider. Absolutely perfect. Just can't snatch those up fast enough. Then here, I do want the Brittle Steel with the Troll Chant. I'm not a huge fan of having like 3 Troll Chants, but you know, it's still pretty reasonable. I think it's going to be better than Take Heart. Our units tend to be big enough already that I would rather have the 2-for-1 options as opposed to the permanent stats. Okay, and our last one. What are we getting rid of here? I don't think we need like Nox and Guillotines. This is kind of awkward. Like, I'm okay with just like the 1 Scorched Earth, especially since there's so many Grand Plazas in the format. And so I think I'm actually okay with hanging on to all of these. We can, you know, technically get rid of a Noxus for a Freljord to help our Legions count, but I don't like where that leaves us. Like, I think if we're getting rid of Noxus cards, I'd rather just be getting rid of these Grenadiers and then actually hanging on to our removal spells. And so, like, our Grenadier trade is for another removal, which is good. Maybe we just have enough 2-drops already. How do we feel about that? We got 1 Seer. Like, these kind of count, kind of don't. A lot of this is Troll Chants, though. I think we should probably hang on to that. I'm just going to go ahead and skip this one. I don't think the upgrades are really that good. Okay, and oh man, almost forgot. Still getting in the habit of going in and getting the shiny card every game. Which one do we actually go for here? I think I'm going to go for either Yeti Yearling or Avarosian Trapper, since those will generate shiny big Yetis. I don't know if I've actually made any of those yet. Let's see. Maybe we'll get... oh, we've already got the Trapper, so let's get the Yeti Yearling. Now all of our Enraged Yetis will be super shiny and stuff. We've got a whole lot of intimidation factor there. Should be good for at least 1 win. Okay. Cool. What's up with all these quotes? What? Double quote here, double quote at the end, and then it's all spaced weird? They assigned the quote issue to some junior at work. So some intern at Riot's super pissed off because he couldn't figure out how to escape his quotes, and that made it in there. At least one of you viewers will understand why that brings out the giggles. Anywho, let's see where we're at here. It's not like the worst start, but I would prefer to have like a little bit more early game. And we don't have any Stefan combos, so let's get rid of it. I don't think we can get rid of Brittle Steel. We could probably get rid of Troll Chant. And I at least want to have something in the event that We don't find a 2-drop. Seems reasonable. And I have no desire to play Frostbite Archer. We're not really slipping too far behind. Let's see if he drops the Plaza on us. Nice. I think we should be okay. We'll see. I really preach having spells that generate units in these kind of spots, and so if he has a succession, then we're hurt pretty hard. And if he just has like a Quinn Bird, it's not that bad. Maybe
many tribes.
Nobody believes in what I'm talking about. This should be okay. We could have considered opening here, but we do have Frostbites and Troll Chance in our hand to hopefully deal with whatever his combat brings forth. Can't really deal with Shyvana. We can put damage on her though. If we make her 3 health and boost up the toughness on 1, then we can Brittle Steel next turn. I think this is okay. Right, she's going to drop to 2, then attack and be at +1/+1, so she'll be up to 3 health, and we can still Brittle Steel. Again, not really excited about it, but it's okay. It really messes with the plan. But if he doesn't open attack, then we can Brittle Steel her, then play Noxkraya Arena. Kind of a wonky way to go about it, but it's a play.
We weren't expecting callers.
Really, are we really going to do that? I don't think we should be doing that. Let's just develop our board here. We drew our Outridered unit. This should be enough to keep his Shyvana from wanting to attack. I think this is okay. I'm fine to lose the Icevale Archer to the Cursed Keeper. Yeah, it's reasonable as well.
Brothers born from battle.
Love this being a card. This is absurd. I bitch about this quite a bit. If you want, if this is reasonably constructed, but this appears way too frequently in Expedition. My deal with these is like I'm okay with the power level of say like the Fishbones deck, to where we're looking at a Professor Von Yip and a Jagged Taskmaster. Like that's the level of like it's really good build arounds for the format, and then B, it feels like you're not just getting blown out of the water by like ultra powerful cards, to whereas the Grand Plaza is just way too powerful to be having show up all the time. This is not fun for anyone. Well, I guess it's probably fun for this guy, but it's not fun for us. This is fine. We're getting Brittle Steels for the tough thing. We can still answer his Shyvana with our Stefan. This is all reasonable.
Moonfang smells blood.
Not wanting to know what we're going to play the arena before he has the chance to play weaker units. Stands, can't hit his Shyvana yet.
Careful, Sevros.
Okay. Probably strike down the Abomination. This is okay. Maybe we should have just gone all in on this Shyvana, but she's not like ultra scary just yet. Pretty close to being there though.
Just another winter.
Yep. At least we want to be adding the Grenadier here. Maybe we should have... We did this in the wrong order. I had in my head that I wanted the Grenadier to pop off so that we could... No, well, I guess that changes it. I had it in my head I wanted the Grenadier to pop off so that we could maybe get a level up off of Wolf Rider. But doesn't look like it's going to be super relevant here.
I'll spot him.
8, 8, 16. Can't lethal this.
They are nothing.
We'll make quick work of you.
This sucks. If he'd hooked our sentry with the bird, it would make his weakest unit Shyvana. He would have been able to try and take her down.
There are none like me.
Noxus lives on. Warm hots and hot soup.
Heal ourselves. Should take down his challenger bird.
Who's gonna close up?
Get our unit back. I think we're probably going to be a little short here, but Leviathan. Okay.
Destination in sight.
This will hit for 3 next turn. 8 plus 5, 12. Okay, well, he's going to have to block at least 1.
Snow buries all.
Should we hit with both? Like, this is pretty brutal if he has a riposte. I think we should just be hitting with this thing. Like, we still have the chance to strike this down with in combat. I guess it depends on what unit he plays. We're just gonna kill his Shyvana. That's pretty sick. Hug him for 3. Alright, so I mean, if it was a big draw, because now if he can't, you know, lethal us this turn, then we just kill him without attacking.
And contain.
I think this is a
Nothing
bait.
escapes
No,
my
it's not.
notice.
Okay. So just trying to draw the expensive spell and see if he can't win that way. Nice.
Artillery barrage.
Always feels good to beat the Grand Plaza. Get that shit out of here. Like, I guess to a degree, at least they make you play Valsa Helia, and that card's just trash. And so I guess, you know, there's some real high roll aspects to it, but I really don't like having to play against the Grand Plaza 2 and 3 times in a trial. Anywho, that's over with. This is actually a pretty decent Swain, but I'm not going to take this. I want to continue to pursue our allegiance to Freljord. So again, like, I'm pretty cool with either of these champions. We do kind of run into this with Darius, to where, you know, if we have good top end, then we just don't draft as many Dariuses, and then if, you know, we need to fill in at the top, because a lot of times, you know, Darius is clearly better than Alpha Wildclaw, but he's not like super better than Alpha Wildclaw. And so if, you know, say we already have 3 Alpha Wildclaws, you probably don't need to add in any more Sejuanis, but when you have top end like we have, then, you know, having the option to add in Sejuani is pretty good. But with these, I'm going to take this Ashe pile. I'm pretty interested in having 1 Rime Tusk Shaman. Always like having one of these in pretty much every Freljord deck, especially in this one when we have Ashes and we have Noxkraya Arena. Should be pretty good. And then we are kind of light on end of game big dudes, and Alpha Wildclaw fits in there fantastically. So this is all a pretty good set for what we're trying to pull off here. Probably want to pick Sejuani's in the next pack, but we'll see how that plays out. And then also with the Ashe, she flips into she flips into Frostbite. It's Articuno that flips into Harsh Winds, but it's like that would have been pretty nice to have access to some more Harsh Winds. Right. Beating the Grand Plaza on 3 always feels good. Card's stupid. Let's see if we see Garen pop up again with a Shadow Isles pairing and be like, "Oh, here we go." All right, maybe not this one. That's weird. Twist of Fate with Lulu. Not sure what this combo is supposed to synergize with. Anywho, cool to hang on to Trapper. We can get rid of Sejuani. We should probably hang on to Brittle Steel just to make sure we have one of these combat tricks. I'm not like super excited about ever mulliganing away these 1-mana combat tricks, but you know, we've got to have some dudes to play those combat tricks on, so it's kind of the trade-off. Okay.
Bounty board knows me now.
I didn't babble on about it with this deck as far as the importance of these one cost combat tricks, because this isn't one of the decks to where you know, we're just ultra curving from like, you know, turn 4 forward, but you know, you can see with hands like this the real strength in just having one of these real cheapo combat tricks. Because, you know, we certainly want to be playing Outriders on 4, and then after 4, you know, we can kind of manage and hopefully get one of these units into battle elsewhere. Here, I want to get this thing off the board. I'm fine to just make this trade. I think it's going to be tough for us to have a Brittle Steel. But no, like with a lot of these curve decks, you're trying to say curve, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7. Happens frequently with like Shyvana decks, and if say on turn 5, okay, you want to you know, play a unit and play a combat trick. Typically, you know, if you're trying to play like, oh buddy, if you're trying to play like riposts and prismatic barriers and stuff, it can be tough because then you can't follow up with a unit. But hands like this, it's not the case. Just smash an Ashe with those bonuses. Sick. All right, ready for combat. What monster dude's this? You're gonna play like a Jeweled Protector with barrier. Flower Child. Okay.
I'm through waiting.
Let's see what you got.
He's new. Sorry.
Still get to trample for 6? That's huge. Okay.
There are friends, Glow.
Does not seem ideal for opponent, though. I mean, he's going to be flipping this Twisted Fate next turn. We'll have to see what that amounts to. Right, he draws 4 this turn. He's up to 7 ticks. Can answer it next turn if we need to, but ultimately I'm not super scared about what this guy's presenting. Like, I kind of just want to play Sejuani and get this out of the way. Is our open good enough next turn? He's gonna have like 5 health. We should probably play units.
These stories were true.
This way, go.
I just get worried about this flipped Twisted Fate being able to like stun our dudes mid-combat. Because blue card, yellow card, red card. So, you know, if he's able to play 2 cards, then he can stun whatever we're doing in combat.
Rivers shape the land and give it life.
Eyes open.
So yeah, I think we just want to open. 'Cause I do worry if like we don't open, he plays some kind of card, shuts down our Ashe. That doesn't seem ideal. But what are the chances that we can actually just come in and kill with the Sejuani? They're probably pretty high, but if this stuns our Ashe, then they drop significantly. So let's just go ahead and battle.
Hot on the trail.
Swiftly now.
Okay.
He bites.
Strike, we will reform.
Okay. He needs the combat trick to get the stun on this Ashe, right? We're still lethal as this is. Okay. Oh, it does go red card instead of gold. I thought gold was the second one. That's still lethal? I thought that said that he was going to go to -3 when I hit the eye. Yep. 3.
What
Got him.
form will the
Got
waters
him good.
take?
We did it. We did it. So I still don't think I would have felt like ultra safe
The war is over.
playing
Now
Sejuani
we
there. He would
rebuild.
have gotten the gold card. If the gold card was the second card, then I would feel pretty good about that. But knowing it was the third, I could have risked it, I guess. But still pretty okay with how that panned out. Then here, I would love to have Iron Ballistas, but I do want to keep our allegiance to Freljord as much as we can. And so kind of okay with not picking up Ballista, although in this style of deck it is typically much better than a Kindly Tavern Keeper. With the Scorched Earth Alpha Wildclaw, kind of interesting. This is our only like actual removal. I think I still want to hang on to this and just if we get the opportunity to get rid of Legion Grenadiers, then that's great. But I think we probably have to hang on to this Scorched Earth for a little bit. Let's just go ahead and skip over these. Oh, come on, bud. Good. Collect these stray cat hairs before they get in my mouth. What do we got? Okay, 2 ribbons and a gangplank. Let's see what kind of reforges this guy drops on us. We didn't see any. That was a little sad. I was kind of felt like reforges would have worked out pretty well in this kind of deck. And with this being on the odd attacks, I think I kind of just want to get rid of both Ashes. If it comes down to playing like one of these 4-drops, I really just want to play the Outriders. I would love to have an Ash back. I'd actually rather just have both Ashes in place of these cards we picked up. That's okay. I mean, you can't ever just be waiting until the 4th turn before you play something. But just getting a hit in from one unit here's not the end of the world. Wow, headbutts.
I write the rules of power.
Okay. I don't think we want to be in a super rush here. Like trading, Trapper for this thing is okay. You look at the stats and be like, oh man, I has 4 stats and our guy has 6. This trade kind of sucks. But I think we just kind of have to accept it as being a 1-mana loss. But we do have like all these troll chants, so maybe we just try to stall this out for a little bit and don't specifically just spend troll chant to win here. I think I'm pretty happy to just play Trapper and pass. Then we can definitely get some troll chant value on our next attack. Or maybe on this guy's next attack. But, I mean, when we have the unit booster, Outrider, and the Leviathan in our hand, we don't really need to be in a big hurry.
These hands know metal and magic.
Play one. Play some fragments now. We have the best ideas, don't we, bud? Sure do. Okay. Uh-oh. This is a big decision. Can't imagine whatever happens. you have to life coach it there.
Victory requires a sharp
Okay,
blade.
I feel like this will probably work out well for us.
Many tribes, one Freljord.
Yep, good. Maybe you can get to see him play quick attack token onto the thing. Oh, beautiful.
It sings to me.
All right, Troll Chant, let's go.
Over there.
You have an ally 2 health. We need it to be this one. Hang on. Well, if we want to protect our guy. Oh, we have to play both. That's awkward. Okay, well. Let's see how bad it can get. This would be kind of unfortunate if he has a sharpened resolve or a weapon hilt, but I think it'd be okay. As long as he's not adding units to the board, I think this is pretty decent for us. Brother spawn, sure.
It is written.
Ye started without me.
Big old Yeti.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
To serve the greater good.
No, I don't think. I mean, do we want to attack here? We're just going to give him a reforge if we attack. But
I
we
need just a
do get to
moment.
wear down his board a little bit. That's probably fine. These things have overwhelm. We should probably be getting these big chunks of damage in.
I've got the reins.
But this will be his third reforge, so he can spew off a Riven Sword next turn if he wants. But at least to that end, we can Sejuani it, so he hopefully can't kill us. Seems like this should be okay.
Carve a path.
We can still Riven Sword and then hook it up here. If he hooks it up here, it's going to have 7. Then I think that's okay.
Bow to no one.
We just need to do some not dying here, and I think we'll be fine. Like his board does not play well against overwhelms. So I mean, this is gonna come in. It's gonna hook a Sejuani.
My words bring power.
It's
to
okay.
mortal.
Interesting choice. Oh, he's just gonna go. He's gonna try to hit us with 10 health of overwhelm. Is that his play here? Hook our 2 bigs, try to come in for 10
I'll cut
overwhelm,
them
but then we
apart.
still hit with this little guy with this.
You're mine. Face me.
Ready the torches.
All right. Oh, I thought he was gonna play a card. Okay.
Remember me.
All right. Well, let's open with the Tavern Keeper so we can't. I don't think this puts the circle on the board. You know what I mean? It just heals us, so we don't die to a Nox and Fervor, Nox and Fury, whatever. And might need to keep this Troll Chant for defense, so let's just put units on the board and pass. Then we can try and Troll Chant this down next
that
turn.
was mud.
If he doesn't open on us, we can also add the Leviathan, which is pretty good at blocking. I did the mathematics on that one. Okay, things are looking up.
Let's get to it.
Yeah. Closer to flipping. Oh, you're not close at all. So let's put the most health we can in front of this thing. We can put Sejuani here. 2 die. Let's go down here. Let's protect our Sejuani and then our health. These units down here don't really matter. So let's give Sejuani health. Use some negative. Still got to like Nox's Blast or Might this way, but you know, it's kind of as close as we can get. No, we don't die, right? We would just take. What did he play? Whirling Death? Sure. So we take 4, fall to 1. That's not dead. That's all that matters there.
Deploying.
Nice if we could have got the Leviathan down. It's unfortunate.
The past is a burden we must learn to bear.
This Ashe kind of sucks here. It's unfortunate that she
Faster than my
is going to hit
arrow?
this. I guess we could go ahead and
think
Scorched
not.
Earth this thing.
I write the rules of power.
Is he ever going to get wider than us? Because he's like, he kind of has to start blocking here, right?
Positions!
So hit this thing.
Silly
Surprised he's
thing.
not putting... So he probably doesn't have an overwhelm play if he's not putting Rune Weaver down here. The kind of somewhat scary thing is a weapon tilt coming in. But
Continue
having 8 health
without
Flame
me.
Leviathan certainly helps in that sense. So yeah, I mean, as it
Pledge
stands
to
now,
Sejuani's service.
as long as we survive the attack, we'll kill him with the Leviathan. Have to imagine we could have punched through some overwhelm damage earlier in the game. So if we lose this one, I feel like probably could have played it a little differently at some point, been a little bit more
I sense
aggressive
their
with some of our dudes, and the overwhelm one. Yeah.
I won't look back.
So don't have enough of this.
The dead don't need riches.
And when we get him that low, pretty sure we could have. We were a little unaggressive with our overwhelms. I just kind of felt like we could. It was one of these things to where if we just stalled out the board for long enough, then we could have probably just killed him in one big attack. And so, what you kind of run into in a lot of these spots is to where. Say your opponent's getting like a super wide board and you can only have 6 units. There's a lot of times where you don't want to just be giving trades to your opponent if you're only going to be getting 1 unit on the board, because if they're at 6 they can't add anymore. But then if you get in combat and say kill 3 of their units for 3 of your units, then they get to add in 2 units and you only get to add in 1. Then they're wider than you now and can push through damage. And so that's how I kind of felt with that game. Was I didn't want to get units into combat on our turn because it seemed like he was going to be a deck that was going to be cheaper and going wider than us. And I kind of felt like as long as the board stalled out, our units were always just going to be bigger than his. And so we never quite turned the corner and never quite got the good troll chance we needed to say that our board is just better than yours now. Which is a touch unfortunate, but that kind of is what it is. Yeah, the spells he needed, but on like a different aside, like the game plan strategy I was happy with, but I feel like at some point in there, we probably could have got 3 damage in it. And when you have access to the Leviathan like that, that's kind of a big deal. So a little unfortunate. Nonetheless, moving on here, I don't want any more troll chance. We have 3. I'm kind of like contemplating this the Stefan for Wolf Rider because we don't really need the ramp, and we don't have the early game dudes to make this good, right? You typically want like Mighty Poros and the Noxus 3-cost 4 attack overwhelm, so that you have ways to punch through damage on the 4th turn and level this up. And our deck just doesn't do that. So I'm kind of interested in the Stefan just to help kind of push our curve down a little bit, especially if we're wanting to, say, pick up another Sejuani. Here, I don't really want Sharpened Resolve, so I think I am cool to get rid of the Wolf Rider here. It's Fortune with Maokai. The sea monsters are gonna come out of this. Interesting pairing. The Maokai saplings are pretty good with Misfortunes. I think I do want to keep Caught in the Cold against Misfortune. She's not like ultra scary. Against our deck, we don't have a whole lot of 1-health units, but would like to be able to interact with her if she has the turn 3 or the turn 4 Misfortune.
Let's get him, crew. Finger on the trigger.
Coming in hot!
Success gets you noticed around here.
Yeah, but Troll Chant. He's certainly going to hook our Grenadier. So I'm just going to add the Yeti Yearling and pass. We should be getting lined up pretty well for our attack on the following turn.
Danger pays.
What up, Leviathan? You're showing up all the time this trial.
You point, I shoot.
got us covered.
Okay.
United, nothing can stop
Oh
us.
no, we missed. Come on, that's why we gotta get rid of these red cards out of here. Fine. I wanted to have the option to just drop like a huge unit or Ashe.
I will unite the Freljord.
War, Mother Ashe. The honor is ours.
Let's see, we can still make quite a bit of magic happen here with both Troll Chant and
One
Hot and Cold.
life in exchange for another.
Alright, so the only interaction they should be able to have here is like Parlay, which we don't care about, or the Shadow Isles combat trick, which I haven't seen in ages. And so I think we're going to be okay to just slam everything in here. This is our good hook down here. And then this 4-3, not that spectacular here. We can just Troll Chant through it. Prefer to be getting 2-for-1s with that Troll Chant, but we're starting to get a much better board than this guy.
I will tend this garden. If they're out there, I'll spot them.
Get bloody, get paid.
Okay. We're gonna have to Fury of the North through this. It kind of sucks. This Ashe is very, very vulnerable here.
Time to make some coin. Ha!
Nox and Fervor, moderately interesting. I mean, the Ashe is going to hit this one. I think we probably just want to hit with everything.
In Avarosa's name.
Got the Scorched Earth we finally want to use, so we can
Got
probably
some
use it to
fighting
pop
now.
down Maokai.
Make it worth my while.
Or if he get one of these units he's just going to block and definitely kill, then we can Nox and Fervor something away.
Gotcha in my sights.
Okay. And what I think we'll probably realistically do this game. He's going to do some kind of attacking here. We're going to do some not dying. We're going to play the Leviathan. And then just win with this plus Nox and Fervor. I mean, that seems like the most realistic outcome here, right? He's going to play some kind of like unit and hook in Ashe. Like, we're never winning on the ground like this. The only like downside to try to following this path is we do run into problems if he has a Vengeance or a Crumble. So I don't
stand in my
think we want to
way.
advertise that we have this Nox and
Ready
Fervor.
the torches.
Right, we might get away with the Vengeance, or with the Leviathan surviving another turn.
Son of a...
I think. I hope I'm not just like convincing myself of this stuff, but I think it seems okay.
The tribes.
Let's just keep it banked.
Fire!
Winter is the Freljord's true ruler.
See what he does. Just need him to spend down below like 5 mana, and then we'll be okay. Oh god, I don't know what these things even do. Create 5 random cards. Oh, they cost 0 and are fleeting. Okay. Nothing scary about that. So let's do this one. We're just gonna pass here. Sure, it doesn't. It's not relevant, but that's a cute one to see fall out. Keep passing here. If we want him to, the big point is 7 was Vengeance, so we can't Vengeance this. He can't play Sunk Cost or whatever that card is if it still exists. Oh fuck us. Okay. So we have to add more units now. We don't die to the Abyssal Eye, but
We'll take what we need to survive.
not happy about the Withering Whale.
What do you see, boy? Quickly, before they organize.
Like he didn't play very many cards. What was that? The Undying was the only 0 we passed on.
Ready, boy?
We like a challenge.
Okay, can't take damage. He's gonna hit us for 6 with the Abyssal Eye, so we gotta throw down blocks wherever we can, and we just need our Leviathan to survive. Hopefully, that's all we thought it was gonna take previously. But
It found you.
why? You had lethal. Why didn't you play this before your scout attack?
Peer beyond.
Okay. Let's go put the 5/2 in front of this.
You fool!
He's just gonna play like the
Love ya.
Plunder Rally or something.
This will be a fight.
Sad, but
I am the forest.
yeah, Maokai Flip, that's fine. You don't get to see that frequently. You'll get that fancy animation. Still, again, I want to see him spend a bunch of mana. Don't want either. I don't want to. I have to imagine if he had like Crumble, he would have already played it, but still, I don't want this to get canceled somehow. I'd rather see him just spend like 7 mana on a sea monster and and ship it back to us. Oh, there was the Citrus Courier. Okay. I'm gonna do it with this. Well, we're just kind of hosed by Black Spear either way, right? So we might as well do it on this one. Right, because I thought if Black Spear happens, then he's going to kill our Leviathan, and we're just kind of gonna be not have the damage next turn anyways.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Okay, so we should not have won that one, but you gotta take the opportunities your opponent gives you. Let the Twitch chat start going herder and missed lethals. Anyways, cool. I did want to pick up a second Sejuani, and this has another Avarosian Outriders. This is a pretty good set. I'm not a huge fan of shared spoils in this particular deck we've crafted, but it'll be okay. Oh, right. See if we can't take this one to 7 now that we got a victory we didn't deserve. It's just making up for us missing some points in the previous game. If you're not familiar with how this goes, I never misplay or do anything wrong. And if you think I've done something wrong, then you're the wrong one. And so if there was something that seems wrong or incorrect along the way through there, then you're the wrong one and not me. Nailed it. So I think this is an interesting keep. It kind of sucks on the odd attacks with this 2/4, but I kind of like how this plays out. If we're able to, the way we can kind of bank our mana here and get the Legion Grenadier moving. I was not expecting to draw 3, but we did. But I was kind of thinking of using the Grenadier along with the shared spoils. Okay. Okay, enough. I'm okay with this no value Tavern Keeper. If this dude's draw is just a star chart on the second turn, I think we probably need to go ahead and try to get ahead of him. He's probably got a pretty high costed hand if he's deploying a star chart that early. Sure. Double share.
I'm back next.
Right, yeah, it seems good for us.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
Many tribes, one Freljord.
Alright, did miss that one. Maybe I'm curious if I should have been like a little bit more aggressive in getting these Noxus cards out of our deck. It doesn't seem like it. Oh man, we keep getting these boosted ashes all over the place. This is sick.
The honor is ours.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're still at 7 on the Noxus count.
Got something for him?
Absolutely.
The time is right. Strike now.
Should be far enough away from flipping to be particularly scary. We're in a pretty good spot here. So we can troll chant through this. Like this is going to be a net 4-stat change, and so Pale Cascade isn't good enough here to win this combat. Ally 2, opponent neg, so he can like not die here. He can frostbite our unit, but we never just lose this combat. Yep, that was an Ash freeze. It's his third one.
Victory at any cost!
Avarosans, stand together.
So even something like a Harsh Winds isn't the end of the world here. The Harsh Winds means Ash can like kill a Wild Claw, but that's not too terrible.
Lead the target.
It's still 11. Okay. Oh, 12. We had an overwhelm damage. Cool. Yeah, his draws seem to be a little bit clunky there. Ash is not happy when she's in situations where she has to block. Cool. So yeah, not getting rid of the Leviathan. This is too good. I mean, it would give us that red for blue card, but I'm okay with skipping that. And then, you know, if we're trading out our Noxus removal spells, you got to be getting either a Freljord card or something pretty nice in return. And neither of these units are something we're particularly looking for, so we can go ahead and skip this one. Feel like this game we're going to get a bunch of those shiny Yetis. That was the whole purpose of our deck. We've played a few. That's a fact. Alrighty, Grand Plaza Part 2. That's what the thing you're gonna be watching for here is when you see these Garens paired up with Shadow Isles, like they're gonna be that Grand Plaza deck. So here on the evens, I think we can well, we probably have to keep the Scorched Earth. We can keep all of this, I think. I was just thinking on this like curve. What are you doing? I'm not replacing anything. Why isn't the OK button working? F. Gotta Alt Tab out of this. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it sends us back into game. There we go. All right, we're still here. We didn't have a turn 1 play anyways. I think we recovered reasonably. Kind of the idea I had before I decided we have to keep Scorched Earth against this deck is you know, we have this reasonable curve of a 2, nothing on 2, but we bank into Troll Chant and then have an Ashe play. And so Ashe should take care of, you know, one of his units and Troll Chant, hopefully get us through the other 2 he has if he's playing on curve. But
Fuse is lit.
I think keeping the Scorched Earth will be reasonable enough. Oh man, he's dropping the Poros. It's going to be all Poros plus plus Grand Plaza.
Would you believe he once fit in my hand?
So we didn't draw it.
Where'd they go off
So
to?
Troll Chant.
Try me.
Okay, so let's give you 2 health, give you -2 attack. Cool. Those are the Troll Chants we're looking for. I think we're in a pretty good spot now. This is where Ashe shines, right? If he wants to play a 4-drop, she's just going to get ashed. He's not going to have a good blocker here. It's pretty decent. Noxkraya Arena is also particularly good against Braum. if you're not familiar with that, he doesn't have any attack. It's not as good like right here where he could hit it with a take heart, but I expect this to pan out nicely.
Follow along, little ones.
My friend, you are lucky.
Gonna keep passing and see what happens here. We did pick up another Troll Chant, which we may or may not want to use. I think we're probably just gonna. We want to just start trying to use it now, or are we okay with what happens here? Like Braum hooks one of these. We can block Poro Herder with Ashe. We can block one of these. I think this. Just have the arena take down his Braum. I think I'm okay with this. Our health isn't going to fall too low, and
First we fight.
and say if he sends it back to us, it's fine. Seems like he paused to consider not attacking, but it's taking a few points of damage here. It's not horrible.
Death doesn't scare me.
Should be pretty devastating.
Stay safe, my friend.
Okay, I was gonna say then, like the big question that starts to come down is if we want to play Sejuani, and I don't think we do. I'm pretty okay with Ashe having to combat his weakest unit.
Who's gonna get in my way?
What have Poros done to you?
So how does this play out? We don't win this combat, but we can troll chant if we want. I think we're good to troll chant. And if he plays his follow-up Poro or Ashe is going to get killed by it, but I think this is okay.
The little ones.
I still think we're pretty far ahead here. It's quite a bit to come back from an arena when it's just super far ahead of you. Like, we're in a spot now where we can Sejuani whatever he plays. Picked up 2 Poros, it's not bad. Let's wait and see if we get a better one.
Carved from the savage cold.
Check if we were close to flipping. Not so much. So we can't just like nug him for 8. Or I kind of like it. With the shared spoils. This is fine. Let's protect our Sejuani here a bit. Let's see what we hit with shared spoils. He's again like gonna have a pretty tough time developing a board whenever we're just gonna be acing off his smallest unit every time.
What's theirs is ours.
United, nothing can stop us.
Did we play that backwards? Should we have just outridered first? Probably. So there's the answer to Sejuani, but we can Scorched Earth this down after combat. He'll get the 4/4 back. So we'll want to do it on his turn.
I refuse.
Should probably block just in case. So don't want to be taking a 10 hit if he has rando counterspell here. I don't think there's anything that should do it, but yeah, that's fine. Just in case, get that block in there. He did make me stop and pause there. It's like, oh shit, he's playing cards. But these are all too big to brittle steel, which is kind of a problem here. We're just gonna have to get into combat and lose. The smallest unit is pretty meaty compared to what we're deploying here.
We'll take what we need to survive.
I mean, I don't think we got overly aggressive with our Ashe. That's where the problem seems to be right here. But let's see.
Got something for him? A worthy end. Brothers!
Got him to 2. Okay. Just gotta stay a little bit wider, and maybe we'll be okay.
My heart and sword for Demacia. We go where
Okay.
the War Mother bids.
We don't have to block this. Oh, that was awkward. I thought we were going to be striking as hard a fluffed, and that was not correct.
This'll take the chill off.
As it goes, as Garen has to block this thing now. Can't attack with everything. This has to be this. Do we want to try and draw Yetis? I don't think so.
Hold fast.
Alright, we'll take those 2-for-1s where we can get them.
Come back next time.
Feels like we're so close. Just so close to getting in there. Makes 4-4. Need to make something stronger. Probably. Can't just lose units here. How bad is this if he has Fury of the North? I mean, it's not good. Not gonna lie, it's not good if he has Fury of the North here. I think we have to just take this. Kills 4-4. Okay.
Fuse is lit!
Alright, maybe that's enough to do it. Alright, like, as soon as we lost that Ashe, well, not as soon as, I thought it was okay when it happened, because I felt like our units were always just going to be bigger than his units. I didn't really stop and consider that, you know, he Poro snacked up. He was just kind of like, oh, he's playing Poros, I'm gonna just be able to take advantage of all these, like, 1-health units. And that just wasn't the case. His units got much bigger, much more quickly than I was expecting, and so he had a little bit more trouble than I thought we were going to. So with this one, I'm just going to skip everything. I'd rather have Grenadier than Death's Hands. Don't want to trade out Arena. It's kind of the cornerstone of our deck, and then the Stefan is just cheaper than Icy Yeti, so I'm good to skip that one as well. Okay. Yeah, he's been a little sloppy today. Tighten it up. Get some of that play good going. This Riven has Piltover in it, but Riven Darius. Okay. Do something like this. Just make sure we have a 3 and look for cheapers. Much better. Tempted to just like generate brittle steel mana. I guess it kind of depends on what this guy does, but I guess we have Sejuani's and we should be pushing this while we can. But I figure when he's like a base Riven deck, he's probably just going to have Rune Forgers this turn. And so I mean, we have to be okay with trading Grenadier for Rune Forger if we're not going to bank brittle steel mana. Cool. I mean, seems reasonable. He doesn't have any plays. Then I'm glad that we got all our units on board. That's the strategy. Just have your opponent not play cards. Okay, I'm pretty reasonable. This is fine. Like we can block the big boy with our little Yeti and then get in for 6. Follow up with the Outriders next turn. Pretty okay with what's happening here. This is kind of interesting. Well, I guess there's 2 things. We have the Outriders plus shared spoils, and so we had this, come up last game to where you can just draw the boosted unit. But what I think I'm interested in doing here is actually adding the unit, and then we can caught in the cold whatever he plays. It is unfortunate if his play is Riven, but wow, I wonder if this guy quit. if he just left. But I didn't play my card here because I do want to just get these things on board. Okay.
United, nothing can stop us. Noxus!
Try me.
Do we even want to block here? I don't think we do. The thing with this is if, you know, we block and he has a combat trick and kills our unit, that kind of sucks. But as the board stands right now, we can open and kill him. And he's going to need to have like a whirling death or something to keep us from killing him here.
Another round.
Yeah, actually, did he have to have 2? Yeah, no, we would have left him at 1. But yeah, there's nothing we can do about that.
Noxus lives on.
So how do we want to go about this? Do we just want to add the big boy, or do we want to get Arena going? I think we probably just want to add big boy. So let's go ahead and shared spoils, see if we get a juicier unit here. We did not. So let's just get both of our big boys online.
Brothers born from battle.
Oof. Okay, okay. I'm just going to caught in the cold arena this thing. We hopefully have a good block on his Trifarian. Then we can play arena post-combat and hopefully take down the big boy here. Still swinging in with everything, which is... What would this even represent? Like a brother's bond?
Sure about that?
We don't doubt a brother's bond. I think this is fine. Otherwise, they do have like sharpened resolve out of Brothers Bond. Yeah, Brothers Bond number 2. Sure.
A worthy end.
Okay, so we'll die to a Noxus Blast or a Death's Hand, but otherwise should be okay.
Just another winter. Snow buries all.
Guess he's playing Piltover as well. He could have just a Mystic Shot or something. Fuck. Oh, okay. Oh man. Whew. It's like such a high and such a low. It's like you just don't expect him to play anything unless it's going to kill you, and it's just a guillotine. Whew. Okay. Alrighty, let's get in that final battle. Cool. Let's see. How do we want to approach this? Like, I'm still like wanting to get rid of these Noxus cards, and it feels like Scorched Earth is kind of like the worst one. So I think I'm actually okay with this. This is one of the kind of premier 1-drops as well. So when we run into the third Grand Plaza deck in the final battle, we'll be upset about it. But otherwise, I think that's pretty okay. Here, I would rather have Flash Freezes in our Arena/Ashe deck than Shared Spoils, so I'm okay to pick that up. Not trading out our Arena or our Trapper, not picking up a Noxus card. That's an easy set of skips. Let's see, so we could trade Troll Chant for Rhymefang. We also could trade Stefan for Scar Maiden Reaver, where we have the chance to get rid of a Grenadier. We're at like 6 Noxus. That's okay. I would rather it be a little lower since we do have 3 Outriders, but if we're going to pick up a big boy, I'd rather pick up this Scar Maiden Reaver. I prefer these kind of late game overwhelms to our kind of mid-rangey plays that we don't have combos for. So I think I would rather have the Reaver than the Spirit Walker. Let's pick this up. Or, hang on, do we want to pick up this interaction? I think I'm actually going to do this one. Right, we just traded out one of our sort of removal spells, so we're picking up a whatever he's called should be fine. That's okay. These I'm not trading. We have our one Shaman, not trading out the Leviathan, and I'd rather have the direct damage than a Guillotine. Let's skip that. I'm not trading our blues for reds, and I'd rather have a Yeti Yearling than Battle Fury. We don't. I mean, I do love me a Battle Fury in the overwhelm style decks, but that doesn't feel like exactly like what we're doing. I know, like a lot of our top end does already have overwhelm, but we should just pick this up. Just no turn 1 plays, which is whatever. The turn 2 and 3 are the big ones. I have 1, 4, 5 2-drops that we actually want to play, which is a light. Then 3-ish, 4, 5, 8 3-drops. A lot of these games, we just haven't been having anything to play in the early game, but I think that's okay, especially now that we have these 4 1-cost spells. Let's pick up the Battle Fury. I have a real hard time not playing Battle Furies. If you're familiar with the videos, I really love me a Battle Fury. It's one of my faves, so it's good to have it added in here. All right, final battle. Don't have any wise anecdotes. I was just thinking, man, we don't deserve to be here. We should have been knocked out around round 2. But I mean, that's the way these things go. You gotta. One of the big things that will help you improve is there was always the kind of thinking and like ancient Magic the Gathering theory that there might be 1,000 plays you could make in a given situation. 600 of them will win you the game, but only one of them is the correct play. And while I do agree with that to a large extent, and with these, again, I think I want to keep Brittle Steel. The Outriders just seems good enough to hang on to. Let's just get rid of Nox and Fervor and see if we can't find at least one of our cheapers. And so, I mean, that is kind of to an extent what happens in some of these games, to where
Bless the people and sear the heretics.
We're not just hitting like perfect play.
Devotion to battle.
But when we see your opponent kind of slip up like that, those are just one of those things that you have to go in and take advantage of. I feel like I had a better anecdote, and then the game started, and I kind of lost my train of thought. I think this is okay. I'm sure this. I don't know what the Freljord will be here, but this just looks like
in her radiant blessing.
Your standard Leona build around. It's missed part of the Daybreak curve. Okay.
Sun this, moon that. Adults are boring.
Okay. I'm gonna try to go big here. I don't think this Ashe is going to be particularly effective against this guy's board. We can take this 5-hit. I don't really care about the lifesteal.
We go where the War Mother bids.
We do still have the Archer Rhymefang Wolf combo next turn if we want to try and go for that.
Punish transgressions.
We like a challenge.
It looks like Troll Chant, but I guess it could also be Pale Cascade. Not real sure why he's just throwing his units away here. That seems odd. Certainly seems odd. Not exactly sure what his angle is there. Like their choices are always just Troll Chant or Pale Cascade. That has me boozled. Maybe even bamboozled.
Winter take you.
Okay, I'm intending on getting both of these. I'm gonna caught in the cold the other one here. He will end up having a higher value target at some point this game. But I think we need to take advantage of this board while we can.
We'll make quick work of you.
Surround them!
Believe or burn.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable for us.
Have faith.
Okie dokie. So just want to add Grenadier Ashe and then get a huge open. That's what it feels like we want to be doing here. Either of these, you can't survive this. We could Troll Chant or Fury of the North in front of it, but I think I'm okay with just slamming our unit in front of this thing. Or we can just take it and then hit it with Ashe. Here, right? Yeah, why not?
I will unite.
We're just repping the kill next turn. He has to have a unit here. Or a Harsh Winds next turn or something. This looks fantastic for us.
Our ranks fill the valley!
Got something for him?
It's like 1,000,000 damage, right? 22? Close to 1,000,000. There's the Harsh Winds. Still, I mean, this dude seems pretty far behind.
Bright light!
Not gonna lie, we have 6 units. He has 1. It tends to it tends to indicate he's farther behind than we are. Not always, not always,
Divine light shines within
but
me.
sometimes. Ashe will also flip on our next attack. Oh, the Battle Fury is just showing up. Being like, well, like, what up? What up? This is why you pick me up. Okay. Lame-o. This dude's a lame-o.
Bow to no one.
I think we're fine here, though. I don't think he can stop us twice when we have the Battle Fury of the North in our hand. Got him. Got him good. Good game, friend.
We survive.
This draw was not well lined up with to handle what we were presenting. But cool. Cool. Nice little 7 winner. Let's see what we got here. Let's get this recap going. We got a couple of rewards. You can see that shiny thing on there. Nice little day here. Nice day. And so yeah, I thought a lot of the stuff we talked about in the draft turned out kind of interesting here. As far as playing blood on the Ice Ashe goes, I guess we can look at it up here in the picks and swaps. And so, the big things that we called out are you're wanting to play Frostbites plus Noxkraya Arena. That's kind of big deal number 1 with this deck. We didn't get to pull off so much of that. We didn't see too many Harsh Winds. We didn't see too many actual Frostbite cards. It's just kind of a sub-theme that we had going on here, which is fine. You'd typically want to find more Frostbites, but I think the reason for that happening was the pick 3 here. But to back to the idea of what this deck is about, you're trying to play Frostbites with Noxkraya Arena. We were trying to pull that off a bit. Ashe likes Frostbites, so you have a lot of synergies between Frostbites and all the cards that we took here. The second thing that this deck tries to do is the 5-attack matters theme. We didn't see any of that. It's not the kind of Freljord we really tried to produce, or the kind of Noxus we tried to pursue. Which is fine. I don't think it's ultimately that strong of a strategy, and there's just not enough cards that exist now to really try to build around it. Like, one of the cards is epic and one of the cards is rare. Like, what are you supposed to do to build around that? And so it's not very reliable. But, I did make note that, the arena does directly put us into Noxus, so we're not in one of these spots to where we have to take a Noxus champion second, and that did leave us open to take Sejuani, which I was pretty happy about. I was really, really stoked that I could call out and pick one that, we don't have to take a Noxus champion. There's a good chance we could take a good champion like Sejuani or an Articuno or something, and then right there, Sejuani shows up. It's this thing of beauty. And so that is kind of like a real high level, the interesting things that you'll be trying to pull off with this Blood on the Ice Ashe. You can also do this from the Darius side. I just don't think the Darius side plays out as well. You kind of really need to hit on your Freljord champion, and it just, in my opinion, it tries to break off into just being the overwhelms deck. And so there's nothing wrong with that. It's good. I'm pretty sure the previous Darius Noxkraya Arena deck that we had, we took to 7. And it turned out to be a very good deck. I just prefer the Ashe side. There's nothing wrong with that, whichever side you end up on. They're both trying to do the same things. You want to be frostbiting your opponent's units to get bonus value out of the arena. And so I thought though that the interesting thing that came out of this particular draft was we knew what was going to happen if we took the Leviathan Legion Grenadier. We were going to see a ton of mega keg packs, and that's exactly what happened here. But I did also specifically call out the Suit Up Sejuani has Avarosian Outriders, and Frostbite Ashe has Avarosian Outriders, and we did have this like direct problem right at the beginning, to where the Leviathan is just ultra powerful. Sejuani Ashe want to be Allegiant so that we could take advantage of the Avarosian Outriders, and we were afraid we were going to see a whole bunch of mega keg packs that we just wouldn't want, and that's exactly what happened. But I felt like we navigated that pretty well. Once we started seeing, we didn't see the Avarosian Outriders until pick 8, and then from that point, I don't think we even took another another Noxus card, and we were really struggling with deciding on what we wanted to keep and what we wanted to get rid of. But that is at least kind of one of these things that you should be moderately aware of. If you're new to expeditions, this kind of idea is probably a little over your head. Nothing wrong with that. It'll come with experience. But if you're one of our experienced watchers, this is probably one of these big things that you should be able to pick up on, is knowing that we're going to be in ideally a Freljord deck, know the power of Avarosian Outriders, and know that this at pick 3 is ultimately a fairly scary pick. It's going to give us picks from a bad pool, and then it's also going to mess with our allegiance. So, that's a thing to take note of. But back to this deck. As far as the important things with this deck go, I think it really applies with any of these big overwhelms decks. Is you just have to really be mindful of your curve. I know I harp on that over and over again, but it is like super easy to put together these decks that have like 2 Rime Tusk Shamans, 3 Alpha Wild Claws, 1 or 2 of that Plunder or Sign Spirit Walker, and then maybe like one of these big Noxus dudes. Like, it's super easy to just let your curve get out of hand, and so. I think number one with this is don't let yourself go hog wild with Alpha Wild Claws and Usgars and stuff. Really be mindful of your curve. Try to keep the counts down. And then do know, at least in this instance where we had Sejuani, or if you have Darius, you can just pivot on which champion you're taking if your late game needs aren't exactly met. And so that is, kind of a big deal. If you want to build towards 3 Sejuanis, then you can take even less late game. Right, because if you're taking this 3 Alpha Wild Claw, 2 Shaman, 1 Leviathan deck, and then packing in 3 Sejuanis, that's quite a bit of top end. And so, first and foremost, be mindful of your curve. The second thing I want to call out here is, be mindful of your curve part 2. And the real strength in Freljord, in my opinion, these days is in the early game plays. And so we did trade out our what's he called? Our Yeti Maker, but he is pretty good. The Avarosian Sentry, or the Avarosian Trapper, is the main Yeti Maker, and then we have these good 2-drops in Starlit Seer, Icevale Archer, Avarosian Sentry. And so is kind of the B side of Mind Your Curve. Do note that those are some extremely good early game Freljord cards, and most of these Freljord card pools only have like 1 2-drop in it. Like most of them will have like 1 1, 1 2, 1 3. This isn't one of these pools like something with Bilgewater where you have like 4 and 5 1-drops and 4 and 5 2-drops. Just very, very tight in the units that you can select, and so you have to kind of go out of your way to pick up these early game plays. And then other than that, really just realize that you're not going to have any direct removal. That just doesn't exist in Freljord. You can pick up avalanches, you can maybe pick up the epic Trundle Quake, but for the most part, you're just going to have things like Flash Freeze, Brittle Steel, Harsh Winds. Hopefully you don't have Shatters because it's horrible, but things like Caught in the Cold may be as good as it gets as far as interaction goes. And so you do have to kind of place a little bit of value on Caught in the Cold, a little bit of value on Rhymefang Wolf. If you're paired up with another faction, be sure to pick up another removal spell or something, because Freljord just has no removal. And so yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. Again, Frostbites are key in this deck. Mind the top end of your curve is thing one. Mind the little end of your curve is thing two, and then find some kind of way to interact with your opponent. Should lead you to a pretty strong deck. As you can see, we played horribly today and still managed to take this one to 7. Not a bad day. But that is going to do it for the recap. It does have a reward flashing at me here. Oh, it's a chest. It's going to have actual cards in it. I got so used to these just being like wild cards and icons and such. Epic card. Monastery. I want to find a home for that. Maybe we'll get one of these Yasuo drafts where it starts with this at the beginning and we're able to take it forward. But that is going to do it for this trial. I did want to mention I've gotten pretty decent at getting to put out like a video a day or like 5 or 6 a week at worst. I am going to be building a new computer. All the parts should be here like in the next day or so. And that will kind of cut into my my nerd time where I get to sit around and make YouTube videos. And so I'm still going to try to keep up with keeping the videos out and getting that new machine together. Should hopefully improve the quality of the videos. Got a new webcam as well. This webcam I got, I didn't start making the YouTube things like right at the start of COVID, but I decided that, like it was fun and I was going to keep doing it, and I should get like webcam mode and get going like that. Like right at the beginning of COVID when it, like the lockdowns, to what degree we had them in America, started happening here. And so if you wanted to get a webcam, it was just like impossible to do. Like you could get like the real turdy ones, and I managed to get a reasonable mid-range one, but hopefully that will be upgraded as well. And so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't cut down on my ability to make the videos too hard, getting that machine together and set up and everything, but might be a video or two behind as far as this week is concerned. But that is going to do it for us today. Hope you all learned how to step into the arena just a little bit better. Had a little educational moment along the way, and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.